There was ever any question about Joe Mixon being a five-star, the status we elevated him to in our last rankings, it was answered in Chicago at the Rivals 100 5-star challenge. We had 4 5-star running backs on hand, and in drills on day one, it was hard to discern who the best one was. I think Leonard Fournette had the best feet, Sony Michel maybe the most explosive, but Joe Mixon was the guy I watched intently because he's 6'2", and he has to run low. He cannot run as high as he does in his highlight tape, and he continually stayed with good leverage, and that was important. And then when the one-on-ones and the 7-on prep started, he absolutely dominated. He took it to a next level. He was the most dangerous of the running backs by far in 7-on play, and this is one of his strengths, that you could put him out in college as a slot receiver, as an outside receiver. You could do a lot of things with him out of the offensive backfield. He's got tremendous hands. He knows how to set people up. He knows his strengths. He knows the weaknesses of his opponents, and he's extremely sudden when it comes to cutting and getting in and out of his breaks. And I love the fact that he can adjust to the football downfield. That was probably one of the most impressive things I saw, is that when he was on a wheel route or a fly pattern down the sidelines, he turned his head around like a wide receiver, high pointed the ball often, or in certain instances he actually tipped the ball to keep it alive, and then made the play on the football. When it was a jump ball, he usually won. And again, he wasn't only going against linebackers here, he was going against defensive backs often as well. And I just thought on day one he was the most dominant performer. Come day two, his team struggled a little bit. This is where Joe needs to work on some things. He lost a little bit of focus. He wasn't as into it, especially when his team was essentially eliminated from playing in the championship. Sort of mailed it in a bit at that point. And I think he got frustrated that he wasn't being utilized as much. When he's touching the football constantly, he's very, very dangerous. Now the question is he the best running back in the country? Is he higher than 4? Is he better than Fournette, Michel, and Hood? These are questions we have to answer now because he was so outstanding. And I think, his combination of receiving skills and just route recognition as an offensive player are just light years ahead of everybody else in this class when it comes to being a third down threat.
That's it.